Columbine tragedy. We'll never forget all the people who have been so deeply impacted by this horrific event. Today, it's a time to remember and a time to hope. The most lasting tribute we can make to the treasured 13 we remember today is to continue to work at making this world a better place than when they departed 25 years ago. In remembrance, I will now read the names of our 13 loved ones who so tragically lost their lives on April 20th, 1990. Cassie Bernal, Stephen Curnow, Corey Caputer, Kelly Fleming, Matt Hector, Daniel Mauser, Danny Warbaugh, Dave Sanders, Rachel Scott, Isaiah Scholes, John Tomlin, Lauren Townsend, Kyle Velasquez. I ask you now to do a moment of reflection in memory of our beloved 13. Last year, the families envisioned what their precious child's life journey would be and their father and husband would have been if they were still on the face of this earth for the past 24 years. And when they shared those stories with me, it brought tears of joy and tears of sorrow. And this year, the families shared their thoughts with us. And I want you to think about this for a minute. I would love the world to know this about my loved ones. Once again, when they shared those thoughts, it brought tears to my eyes, it smiles to my face. And knowing that Matt Hector loved Beatville, we never knew that. And all the different things that we read, and I know they're looking down upon us. In addition, what I would ask each and every one of you to do is we remember this horrific day as kids ran out of this building and people lost their lives. But what I would ask you to do is think of those memories that you shared with them on the face of the earth, whether it be on the fields, on the courts, wherever that was. Because that's what allowed me to come back in this building. And one of the things that helped me so much in the aftermath, I struggled when I came back in here for the first time to try to resume schooling. And what my counselor helped me with on that particular day, he said, if you just keep envisioning what you witnessed that day, he said, your career as the principal at Columbine is over. But he said, share stories about each and every one of those kids. And I did. I remember Rachel on the stage. I remember Kelly down at church. I remember Lauren from the time she was a playpen when her mom was coaching. And I continued in Dave Sanders being at his wedding. And these are the things that allow me to walk back in this building each and every day. And those memories will last for a lifetime. So what I would ask is think about those special memories that you have with them. This past year, the families have shared pictures of their loved ones. And I spent a morning just crying, because these are pictures I never saw. When I saw Danny Mauser in a sink blowing bubbles, it brought a smile to my face. when I saw John Tomlin punching his sister. That brought a smile to my face. And these are the things that we want to remember. And that is the most important thing. You know, we did. And it's something that really resonated in my heart is Phyllis and El Velasquez came to visit me one day, and I gave them a diploma and a cap and gown because Kyle was supposed to graduate in 2000. And unfortunately, he did not. But they came in, and immediately we just held each other, embraced, and there were tears. And I can still remember this for the late Mr. Velasquez, and he said, let's cry because we lost him. Let's smile because we had him. And that's where we are today. When I think back, when I was driving down this street today to come here, there were tears, and it took me back to that day. And in the aftermath, when President Clinton came to visit us at the church, I remember when we went to 13 services. But then at the same time, when I walked in this building, I envisioned the family and your kids being here. And even though their lives were cut short, there were so many things that warmed our heart and made this community what it is today. I would hopefully that you, on the media this past week, they ran pictures that I talked about, and hopefully you had a chance to see those off of Channel 9. What I would encourage you, and I know many of you have been there, but whenever I need time for strength or reflection, I go over that memorial and I read the comments that these families have made. And that gives me strength, knowing what these families shared with us. It truly is an inspiration. And I can remember, I think it was, I looked at this every day as I sat in my office, and I had what I referred to as the wall of my beloved 13. And people said, Frank, how could you do this and look at this for the next 15 years that you stayed here? The reason I did it, it gave me inspiration. And I can't tell you, every day that I walked out the door, I touched that wall, and there was nothing I couldn't do because I know they were walking with me. And that gave me so much strength. I made a comment, when someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. These 13 are our treasure. It was on June 16, 2006. It was a groundbreaking ceremony for the Columbine Memorial. And I know all the families were there. And I can remember we were standing there, Dawn, and President Clinton and I, and Secret Services said, should we continue? And we had umbrellas and we went up there. And I'll never forget these words. And if you look to the screen to the left, Dawn stated, they're here. Can you feel them? Our angels. And all of a sudden the rain stopped. And it gave us hope and inspiration.